I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere. It's up to you, New York, New York.
How we doing, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. That is Idris Salam.
Yep. Sup.
I didn't know that you were on the road. It looked like you were playing a simulator game for a second.
Oh, nah, I'm on the road. give them something to look at, so I can keep my eyes on the road, you know.
Heard that. On today's show, we're going to be hitting on Kevin Nash taking out the trash. Some strong words from the former WCW and WWE legend LeBron James. Obviously, the future Hall of Famer, in some people's estimation, the GOAT, but at minimum, top 10 player of all time. Subject of some trade rumors, potentially. We're going to hit on that. Yankees getting even for the series, Subway Series, 3-3. 3 for Queens, 3 for the BX Borough.
Yes.
And Anthony Volpe's dad really getting into it with a heckler. And we're gonna start there. I have been critical. You have been critical. Many have been critical of the play of Anthony Volpe. But when you are at a sporting event and you try to antagonize a family member of a player, you are already wrong.
Yeah.
And
as much as we have issues with Volpe, I mean, yeah, you have to chill. I mean, it's a family member. You gotta chill. I mean, we're all rabid fans. We all yell, scream, da 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 da. But come on, leave the family alone.
Yeah. He wasn't playing around, and
no. Oh no.
It's on John Boy Media. It's all over now. It's on YouTube. I saw it before I went to bed yesterday. Flying expletives at the fan. And of all things, during God Bless America, you're just being an asshole.
He was.
And don't get it twisted. There's assholes in every fan base, and our fan base is not immune to it either. And I'm not saying that guy speaks for all Met fans, but that guy was an asshole.
Yeah, he was, man. I found out this morning when I got up, and I was like, man, that is insane, man. That's insane. That's insane. Yeah,
As
I mean,
the game goes,
yeah.
Cody Bellinger, phenomenal catch on Juan Soto, Juan Soto's been swinging the bat very well lately. Cody Bellinger making a shoestring catch. Francisco Lindor, in my eyes, didn't do anything wrong. You're assuming that ball is going to fall. Bellinger was able to rope the ball to first base to just beat Lindor.
Yeah.
The Mets challenged it. They lost. It was the right call, regardless of what Richie Dorney says. And the Yankees get out of there, clean ninth from Devin Williams, which is encouraging. And, you can't start a streak until you win one. We were live on IG just yesterday talking about the many wrongs with our team, but definitely a good victory against a good team because the Mets are a good team. And, The Yankees welcome in the Mariners tomorrow. They got the day off today, and Cal Raleigh uh, definitely in the conversation. Can he break the American
Mhm.
League single season home run record held by Aaron Judge? It is a possibility.
Yeah,
He's
I'm glad we
currently
got the
leading, I
victory.
believe, with
Oh my,
35 home runs. It's going to be interesting. He just went,
and we are a good team, and let's get that out there. They are a good team. They've been slipping just like we have been, but that doesn't take away from what they've done and what they can continue to do. So, good win, Cody Bellinger. I said his bat hasn't been that strong lately, but his field game is still there. Um, Good win, man. Good win. We allowed 4 runs, but hey, it's better than 12, man, and we got the victory.
yeah, Max Fried worked hard for those 5 innings. Bullpen did its job.
Yeah,
Mets played a good series in their own right. They won the series. It's an
yeah,
even split 3-3. The
yeah.
Mets are on the Phillies' ass trying to win their division. Going into the
Right.
break, we play two quality teams. All you could ask for, 6-game homestand. You hope that you win 4 out of 6 and go into the break with some
Yeah.
momentum and hopefully
Hopefully so.
change a little bit off of that 3-game deficit. And the Blue Jays are probably going to keep the momentum going. They are currently the hottest team in baseball, and they are on the South Side playing the lowly Chicago White Sox. So, you got to like the Blue Jays' chances of at least taking 2 out of 3 there and continuing their winning ways. Everything's coming together right now for Toronto. Things that a lot of people felt the door closed on them. So the Toronto Blue Jays definitely making a statement. Their best season since 2015. And in my
Hmm.
opinion, their most intimidating look since going back to their back-to-back seasons just before the strike. So Toronto Blue Jays most definitely are a team that needs to be taken serious right now. And we have the Tampa Bay Rays heading to the Motor City to take on the American League's best team in the Detroit Tigers. Tampa's actually favored today because it looks like it may be a bullpen game for the Tigers. Uh, Tigers beat that shit out of the Guardians over the weekend. Guardians are on a 10-game losing streak, which is crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah,
That's
it's hard to
insane.
believe. This is a team that was in the American
Um,
League Championship Series just a year ago.
yeah, and it's crazy. The Yankees. Yeah, the Guardians. That's kind of crazy. It's funny how them in Baltimore was so dominant last year. Then this year you look at Baltimore, and then you look at Cleveland right now. You're like, wow, what happened? Um, as for the Yankees, we got a battle ahead because, like I said, Toronto, and we still got Tampa sitting there. Detroit. I mean, the American League this year is just it's not a walk for anyone. God, Toronto is like I did not expect Toronto to be as good as they were. I had them at best third.
I'll tell
You
you
know,
what's exciting too is that you got two guys over 30 home runs going into the break in the AL. You got Cal Raleigh, who leads Aaron Judge by a couple home runs. What he's
yeah,
doing right now, especially for a catcher, is just insane. There, so it's going to be some huge attention because when you think about the Mariners, think about Julio Rodriguez, but Rodriguez is having a very poor season for his standards. So Cal
right,
Raleigh having a bust out year, he won't win the MVP. That will probably be
right.
judged, but he does have a chance to win the home run title this year. But more so, he has a shot at 62, believe it or not, as does
Yeah, I
Judge.
agree, man.
So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Definitely good for the game. Yeah, I hear you, buddy. Definitely good for the
Okay.
game. But we're going to be moving it along for a second here. I want to speak on this. I was messing with Zappy yesterday. I never make fun of people's plights, but gotta mention it. Is it me or does football season always like ring the bell and it's close when a Dallas Cowboy has some issues with the law? Cavante Turpin, believe it was gun possession and marijuana, if I'm not mistaken. We don't know the severity of all the charges yet, but he was arrested. So I want the facts to come out before we really dive in. But keeping it on the sports metric, this is a player that is projected to have a bust out year in that offense. They move on from They did go out and get George Pickens opposite of CeeDee Lamb, but this guy, between his special teams acumen and what he could do as a three, was supposed to be a big part of the Dallas offense. So the Cowboys cannot be pleased right now with what's going on with his off the field.
Yeah, with Dallas, football season is close because it's not football season unless you have a Dallas Cowboy getting in some type of trouble.
No, of course it is a heckling, trollish kind of thing on our part because for years the Cowboys just had this weird streak where there was always at least one player involved. I mean, of course, in more recent times, it's been spread around the league. You know, Rasheed Rice had his thing. Of course, the terrible situation with Henry Ruggs. But football is around the corner. I don't know all the facts, but, you know, you hate to see people that have such a beautiful situation playing a kid's game and making man money getting into these kind of situations. So hopefully it turns out for the best. That's all I could really say. But I got to speak on this, man. Kevin Nash, former
Woo!
WCW legend. What are your thoughts, Mr. Salam? You shared that on your socials, and I just read it a short while ago before we went live.
You know, I was surprised when I saw it. I thought it was something someone faked until I checked. And I said, okay, he really said this. I'm surprised coming from him, but coming from him, it's like this is real. I mean, for him to say what he said, and he was real candid. People hadn't read it. Go to my wall, Bosco from the Bronx Facebook. It's on my wall. Go to Twitter, Kevin Nash. Um, I agree with him, man. I mean, I'm not gonna go to the point to where he used the word he used, describing white people, but what he said, I kind of feel, and I know a lot of people say, oh, well, you must be a liberal. No, no, I'm not a liberal. I'm not a conservative. I'm independent. But it's very telling. It's very telling for him to come out like that and is as aggressive as he was.
Yeah,
Um,
and he
it,
essentially broke it down in a lane and a level of saying that, and a lot of Americans share his sentiment right now about that there's nothing to celebrate when the less fortunate, because Kevin Nash has been very blessed financially in his career,
yep,
and he comes from humble beginnings. Being from Detroit,
yep,
and he made mention of you know essentially embracing wherever you lie on the lines of expressing your values, expressing how you feel. But he did make mention of how the Black Panthers never hid versus others who wore masks. And that kind of opened up the floodgates of Nash kind of plucking out people who were following him. And whether you agree with him or not, these are hard conversations that are going to be continued to be had, but very interesting because you don't expect it to come from the world of professional wrestling, especially when you consider, like you playfully said, I wonder what the Hulkster thinks. And as you know, Hulk Hogan has been in a shit ton of hot water over the years.
yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm waiting on. What is what does Hogan think? I'm pretty sure Hogan's gonna have a different point of view because that's Hulk Hogan, and I'm just gonna say he's not a real good guy. Let's just be 100. Great wrestler, has done a whole lot for wrestling, one of the greatest of all time. But I mean, he's not a good guy, and he tends to
At
say a lot
minimum,
of
I
stuff
think
that,
it's safe to say, not a guy who's known for thinking before he speaks.
yeah, yeah,
I think, and then that's the
basically,
light way to put it. LeBron James, Idris, he recently shut down some talk that he's going to be moving on from the Lakers because some people know this, some people don't. He regularly works out around the Cavaliers facility as well as in his hometown of Akron because that's where he lives. That's home to him. But
yeah,
with the Los Angeles Lakers, with new ownership and kind of like a lot of question marks revolving around the organization,
hmm
there has been conflicting reports that the organization is fielding calls to see what the interest level is and what could be the kickback for LeBron James. When you consider that Luka Doncic is the new man in town, so to speak, they may be
hmm
focused their stuff to make sure that they center the future around him because he's also a threat to leave. And especially when you look at a team like the Miami Heat that people are dogging on, like why aren't they doing anything? They may very well be putting all their eggs in the basket to go pluck Luka Doncic in a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that the new ownership is shopping him around because let's just be real. LeBron is one of the greatest of all time. Top 10. In some eyes, in my eyes, I say top 10. Some he might be the GOAT. Some might say might be second. But I think this new ownership wants to get the Lakers back to Laker basketball. And over the last few years, and let's be real, I know LeBron hate a lot of LeBron fans not gonna like this, but the Lakers have been a circus because of him. Because of him.
No
And
question.
like the first year when they won, well, the second year when he got there, they won the bubble tournament. But after that, it's been comical. And I think the new ownership wants to get the Lakers back to Laker basketball.
Now,
And
Idris, quick
he's
question,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because I know you got to wrap it up soon on your end. Where do you see him going if a trade truly is facilitated?
Maybe back to Miami,
Going back to
maybe back to
think about
Cleveland. Yeah, I'm gonna have to you there?
I'm looking around the landscape of the league and where it makes sense. I could see him
Mhm.
doing a swan song with Miami, but Miami, in my opinion, is not close enough, and he's not going to waste time being on a middle of the road team right now.
True, true.
I don't think he wants to be
Ma-
in the West any longer if he does leave.
Nah,
I think it's
I say
Cleveland, bro.
Cleveland.
I don't
Yeah,
see I
Cleveland.
don't see the Knicks.
Nah,
I definitely don't see the Knicks.
Knicks are not
Orlando's
gonna
too
take that
small of a
contract,
market.
man. Yeah,
Orlando's too small of a market. I don't see the
right.
Celtics. It's the Knicks.
Nah,
I mean,
yeah,
excuse me, it's the Cavs. The Knicks. It's the Cavs.
yeah. I don't think the Knicks. Like I said, Knicks is not gonna take on that $50 million contract. They're not gonna take, and
No,
they're
sir.
not gonna want him to come in there. Nah, this is
If you pass on KD, which is a better option in my eyes at this juncture of each career, you're going to
yeah,
pass on LeBron. If this was a few years ago, I would have
exactly,
been with it.
exactly. But
I
yo,
know
I
you
gotta
got to
head
go.
into
I'm
this.
going to talk for a few
Yeah,
more, but I wanted to show
all
this
right.
off real quick to my man Richard Dorney. Yes, sir. That's what it looks like. The last
Yes,
image
sir.
of a Met Yankee game for the 2025 season. That is D. Will hugging it up.
Yes, sir.
And he got some
All
confidence.
right, man.
Alonzo kind of had his number. Idris, good
Yep.
luck with your appointment.
Oh yeah, I'll be back.
Have a
Later,
great
man.
day, brother. I'm going to go chat it up for a few more minutes. All right. I was speaking on, yeah, LeBron James, very, very interesting. I don't see LeBron James going anywhere other than back to Cleveland. And it just so happens to be that they are ready and in win mode. I mean, who else could truly make sense? Would it be Dallas? Would it be San Antonio? Nah. I don't see LeBron staying in a more congested, more competitive Western Conference if he has the choice to go back to the East. And if Cleveland is entertaining it, and I'll be honest with you, Cleveland should entertain it because this is a year that the Cavaliers probably should have went further. And do they to completely trust their core to get to the next level? They have a short window because the Boston Celtics are always good. This is going to be one of those off years where the Celtics are not the big threat because of the Tatum injury. Of course, Indiana is going to be down because of the Halliburton injury. Milwaukee's in flux. They're kind of moving parts around. So it's going to be very interesting to see if the King goes back to Cleveland for one final run, or if he just stays in LA and this is all a bunch of bullshit. It will be interesting to see, nonetheless. Couple of other things I want to hit on before I get out of here. Eugenio Suarez. I've been screaming for Ryan McMahon to come over to the Yankees in a deal, but Eugenio Suarez of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, he has gone on record as saying that he does not want to get moved, but the Diamondbacks are in a very tough National League West, and there's no guarantee that they won't move him. In the event that he does come over, that would be just the absolute ideal situation in terms of protection for what Aaron Judge could get. And I think it would enhance the ability of everyone else on that team. So I am crossing my fingers and hoping that Eugenio Suarez comes over to the Yankees. Talking to my barber, Luis Helena, yesterday, and we were talking about the immediate future of the Yankees and if it makes any sense to move on from some of these veterans. Now, I like Paul Goldschmidt. but I still think it's a short-term solution considering that Ben Rice is right there now. Would the Yankees consider trading Paul Goldschmidt for an arm while his value is still decently high, especially when you consider that Clark Schmidt joins Garrett Cole for the Tommy John surgery out for the year as well? Yankees need a third baseman, and the Yankees need one more arm. It is imperative that these two things happen if the Yankees are going to keep pace not only in the American League, but in the American League East. There's a whole second half to go. They got a tough homestand against two quality teams. And just an honest thought off the top of my head. I genuinely believe that a team that people are overlooking in the National League, because everybody talks about the Phillies, the Mets, the Dodgers. The Chicago Cubs are for real, folks. And the Chicago Cubs have the ability to dethrone the Los Angeles Dodgers this year. Just want to put that out. And the Houston Astros are still a factor. Until next time, I am Richie. Gonna be putting together a trade deadline show soon. And I am excited. Just a few more weeks, and we're gonna be putting out our divisional previews for the NFL. I can't believe football is almost back already. Very exciting. My favorite time of the year on the show. If you haven't already, please make it a point to like and subscribe to the channel, the Richie Hicks Jr. Sports Podcast on Facebook, on YouTube. Catch me live on IG from time to time as well. And got some good ideas coming up down the pike. And I'll be keeping you guys in the know. Have a great day, everyone.